Hello Leo, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of January 29th through February 4th. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each card and use your intuition to take you beyond what I'm saying, okay? Remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here we have the Knight of Swords. So let's put that into some context. I wonder if this is going to be an air sign person in your life right now, if there's something going on. And we also have the Queen of Swords. So there's definitely some serious business going on with some kind of an air sign person. But let's lay out the rest of our Dove and Serpent spread and see if we can get an idea of what's going on. We're going to do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card with the Ancient Italian Tarot deck. And this is pre-shuffled, but I just like to mix it up a little bit. And we're going to take one card from somewhere in the middle here. And we're going to leave that right there. We're not going to look at it until the end of the reading. So stick around until the end of your reading, and we'll see if that can tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we're looking for. Okay, so right away I see a lot of court cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4 court cards, kind of a lot. We've got some water, some earth, some air, a little bit of fire, a little bit of water. So it's a fairly decent balance of cards, though it does seem a little bit heavy on the air. Some kind of an issue going on with an air sign person. I really feel like there is some kind of maybe conflict going on, some kind of an issue connecting or communicating with this person. Okay, this could be your person. It could be a business associate, but I'm kind of feeling like this has a little bit of a romantic vibe to it. Okay, there's some kind of a spiritual or an emotional connection with this person. But first of all, I think that your general energy right now is that I think you're generally a very confident and outgoing person, right? I think that you typically are very self-assured. I think that you have a lot of confidence and assertiveness. I think you speak your mind. I think you're very well-spoken and also very outspoken. You know what I mean? I think you really do have the ability to convey your thoughts and ideas effectively. I think you're a great communicator. I think that you maybe tend to be pretty optimistic about things. I think that you have a lot of drive, a lot of energy. You're a Leo after all, right? So I think that that's typically your energy, but for some reason, this week feels like there's a little bit of a dip in that kind of intensity that you usually have. And I think it's because of this air sign person. I think that because of the mix of air here, these two air court cards, the Queen and the Knight, I think that this person, which I think is an air sign person in your life, I think they're going to be affecting you in such a way that you begin to doubt yourself a little bit. Okay? Now, I don't know the nature of this relationship. We're going to take a look and see if we can get to the bottom of that, who this person is, what the relationship is all about. But I feel like they are, they're affecting you in such a way that you feel like you're getting a little quiet lately. You know? That you're maybe not so confident in communicating your ideas. You know, it's like you're losing just a little bit of that Leo fire, okay? And I don't know if it's because there's a difficulty maybe in this relationship right now, or if there's just something that's affecting your self-esteem at the moment, okay? But generally, I feel like you're a very quick-witted person, very outgoing, very innovative and inventive, and very very outspoken, you know, and quite talkative almost, you know, with your ideas. I think you have a lot of very good ideas in your life, and you have a lot to say. But I feel like you're getting a little bit quiet this week. Okay, and maybe we can find out what some of these things are that are going on. Okay. Down beneath the surface, I want to kind of touch on this before we get too far. This is the Art or Temperance card. I think that you tend to know exactly what you want in life, right? This is some really good fire energy here with this Art or Temperance card. I think that you have a very clear idea of what you want in the future, how to go about it. You're very driven. You're very strategic, right? I think you have a very well thought out plan of your life, and maybe not in the sense that like you've always had these really big dreams or, you know, anything too abstract. I think it's very practical for you, you know? Like I think that you have good practical instincts, let's say. You know, so in terms of your work, your career, your life, your relationships, your home, all of these kind of practical things, you have a very, very strong intuitive sense, and you're very strategic in the things that you do, right? And so I think that with all of this air energy kind of coming into your situation this week, it's kind of throwing you off a little bit. It's kind of taking some of this, you know, good strategy, these good practical instincts, you know, and maybe causing you to overthink a little bit, you know. And I think that it's this air sign person. I don't know who they are. I have an idea. We'll get to that in a moment, but I just kind of want to emphasize this kind of practical instincts, you know, this kind of almost like a business wisdom, you know. And I think you're very strategic. I think you definitely know exactly what you want and the means to work toward that goal, in whatever area of life, you know. Very strategic. And this is underneath everything. This is your kind of foundation, right? This is, I think, how you've been operating. And I can see that when I think back to some of your past readings, how driven and how focused you are and have been in the last few months here. And so now with this air energy coming in, I'm feeling like there's just a little bit of self-doubt, a little bit of not confusion really, but just a little bit of static coming in that's not allowing you to really see the way forward so clearly at this time, at the moment. And that's also reflected in this Seven of Swords. So this is a little bit of that self-doubt that kind of comes in. This is a card that is kind of suggesting to me that there are maybe a lot of contradictory opinions headed your way, that there's a lot of, I don't want to call it gossip, but let's say a lot of opinions that you haven't really asked for. And I think that you're typically someone who doesn't like to really listen to other people's advice. You know what I mean? I think that you're a fixed fire sign, Leo, you know? So I think that when you make a decision, when you have your strategy and your instincts are all kind of honed in on what you want, you go for it. And you don't really allow a lot of distractions. And I think right now, for this week, there's a lot of distractions in the air, so to speak. But you're typically someone that doesn't like to listen to outside opinions, outside advice, especially advice that you haven't asked for. And I don't think you're one to really ask for advice. I feel like you're the type of person who would rather try and fail on their own than succeed because somebody else kind of told them what to do. Does that make sense? You're very independent that way. I think you're a little bit... maybe a little bit suspicious of people who are trying to give you advice, you know? It's a little bit of a concern that perhaps they aren't really looking out for you in the best way. Why are they giving this advice? It's a little bit of suspicion like that, right? You're not sure why they're offering this information to you or this advice to you. And this is a general energy. I think that's kind of how you feel generally about maybe revealing your plans to people. Maybe you're someone that likes to keep things close to the chest. You like to kind of keep your cards hidden. And, that way, if people don't know exactly what you're doing or how you're doing it, then they really can't offer you much advice or what you would consider distractions to the work that you're doing when you have these kind of outside energies, these opinions coming in, this advice coming in, especially if it's unsolicited. They're just really distractions. It's just a lot of noise to you rather than anything helpful. Okay, and I think that's all part of your strategy, your kind of practical instincts, and this wisdom that you have that you can apply to really anything. I think you know very clearly what you want in life, you know how to get it, and you really stick to your plan, and you don't allow a lot of interference. And that's what we get with this Seven of Swords, though, is trying to repel that interference, you know. And I think generally you're pretty good at doing that. I think this week, for some reason, there's more of it. There seems to be something that's causing a little bit more static in the pursuit of your goals, right? But let's see. We already know that it is involving some way this maybe an older feminine energy, and maybe an air sign person. I don't know who this is. I don't know if you've met this person yet, if they're in your life right now. But I do want to talk about how they might be coming into your life, or what the origin of this person was. Now, in the recent past, we've got this Two of Cups. So it could be that you are going to meet this person at some kind of a pleasurable event, like a celebration, a birthday party. Maybe you met them at a holiday party recently. It was kind of an unexpected meeting. It wasn't someone that you already knew. I think it's someone that I'm getting like a birthday party kind of feeling, but it could be one of the, like a holiday celebration. But you met that person at that kind of an event, okay? In the recent past, probably the last few months, probably over this holiday season that's passed. And I don't know if there's some romantic vibes going on. It feels like there may be some attraction here, and it could be that attraction that is the actual distraction coming in. You know what I mean? Like just the fact that that you kind of have these feelings, or you have this interest in this person. There seems to be some kind of a connection with this Two of Cups. There seems to be some kind of chemistry, some kind of sparks happen there. And that is what is causing a little bit of a static in the pursuit of your plans, or whatever your goals, whatever the work is that you do. Not necessarily career, but the work that you do, right? Not necessarily for money, but your activities, what you're really focused on. So, this could be the beginning of a new relationship. This could be the beginning of a new friendship or partnership, or just kind of a more physical interest, more of a physical connection than anything else. But whatever it is, whoever it is, I think that it's kind of distracting you a little bit from your main path in life, whatever this central sword is, whatever your mind has really been focused on lately. And this is what I call, the work that you've been doing. It's kind of pulling you in a different direction away from this, okay? And again, I think they're probably an air sign person. If they're not an air sign person, or if you don't yet know their astrological placements, it's definitely someone that has a lot of charm. They're very eloquent. And I think maybe when you did meet them, or when you do meet them, it's going to be really, really good conversation. It's going to be just a really flowing kind of, conversation with that person. It's going to be an easy connection, and you're going to find them to be very charming and eloquent, and, it's going to be a pleasurable experience, right? I mean, it's not anything that we really wouldn't welcome under normal circumstances, but with all of this air going on here, I feel like it's going to be pulling you away a little bit from your central sword, that central focus. Okay. But the Two of Cups, I mean, it's a pleasurable thing. And so, not a lot of risk or danger here. I think it's just a matter of remembering what is truly important to you and what you're trying to focus on. Now, again, I don't know if this is going to be a romantic kind of love and emotional connection, if it's just a physical connection, or if it's just something that may be platonic. I mean, it's possible there, but with the Two of Cups, I feel there's a real chemistry, some real sparks that happen there. And I think it's primarily because the two of you, especially since we've got both of these, these swords court cards right in the middle of things. This is the two of you that really are just hitting it off so well in the conversation department. Okay, the communication is just really flowing, really harmonious, and seems to come really easy. But in the immediate future, we come back to our main goals and plans, right? I think that your primary focus in life is to build either this business, this career, this work that you're doing. Again, not necessarily the work that you do for money, but whatever your central sword is, whatever your focus really is. This could be a very welcomed detour. It could be something that, is really going to assist you in reaching your goals. But I feel like this goal, your success, the fulfillment of whatever these plans are that you have, that's your real focus. And anything that might assist you towards this goal is a good thing, right? But anything that doesn't help you reach your goals is kind of, it's unwanted, right? It's something that you're going to try to keep away, right? And that's primarily what we're getting with this Seven of Swords. This is a lot of trying to kind of push away all these things that are causing the static, causing the interference. Now, the Six of Pentacles is also a card that talks about holiday gatherings, right? A nice harmonious get-together of people. Everybody's having fun. Everything's flowing, and it's just a really good time. It could be that this event with this air sign person started, happened, and ended all in the course of one night. It may have yet to happen. It may be something, I don't know if there's a birthday coming up or a holiday party that's coming up pretty soon here for you. It could be when that is taking place. This could all be happening in the past, to be honest with you. Okay. I'm not getting a really strong sense of when, just the what and the how. Okay. But it feels to me like this might be just like a one-night event, if you know what I mean. So I think we've got the kind of the beginning, the middle, and the end all wrapping up in the course of this, some kind of celebration, birthday party, holiday party, whatever it might be. Okay. So let me know if that's resonating with you. Let me know if this has already happened, because I'm curious what this feeling is that I'm getting, because I almost kind of think that it's something that hasn't quite happened yet. It's something that I feel like may be coming in the next few days. But thinking of it logically, it would make sense if it already happened, because we just had all those holidays, right? So maybe it is a birthday party, or maybe the company that you work for, or whatever, their holiday party is kind of later in January or something. I don't know. But the main idea is that I think it's going to wrap up in one night, or it did wrap up in that one night. It was kind of a meeting, a really wonderful connection, and it's kind of over in the course of that night, The main kind of idea for you is to not allow that to be a distraction from your main work, this central sword. And I feel like that's what you're really kind of going to be struggling with, is trying to stay on task, trying to stay focused on your work, rather than to be too wrapped up in whatever this thing was, Because I feel like it has the potential to really pull your focus away with all that air energy, and with the real chemistry that the two of you kind of have at the beginning of it. It has that potential to kind of pull you away from things. Let's go to the path of the Serpent now, and I just want to say that these cards are always correct, okay? I might not be able to interpret each card specifically to your exact circumstances, okay? And that's why I say you've got to connect with these cards yourself. You've got to use your intuition to go beyond what I'm saying, you know, take things to the next level and figure out how to relate these to your life and your circumstances, okay? So general energy, though. General energy, we have this Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is still kind of talking, it's like you kind of want this, I hesitate to call it an affair, okay? I don't want to call it an affair or, you know, a one-night stand or something. I don't like those kinds of terms. You know, they sound too scandalous. There's too much stigma attached to those things. If this is a union or a relationship that maybe only lasts 1 or 2 nights, so be it. But I think you're a little bit conflicted about what you want, about what your heart really wants here, okay? I'm getting this feeling like you've sacrificed a lot for this work that you do, right? You've maybe put a lot of your the needs of your heart on hold. Now, we don't see a lot of cups in your life, right? There's in terms of your character, your life, your inner world, right? There's not a lot of cups. There's this one. This is the really the only cup now, right? I'm looking at this. Yeah, this is the only water card that we have that's talking about something within you. This Two of Cups was, you know, an external event. We have a little bit more water, but that's also an external event. This is the water that's in you, and I feel like it's kind of half full, half empty. You know what I mean? So I think you're a little bit conflicted. I think that you have put your love life, your romantic life, your pleasure, your satisfaction, that heart energy, that water energy, I think you've put that on hold. I think that you've made the deliberate choice to sacrifice that for the good of whatever this work is that you're doing, right? Whatever this, whatever your central sword is, whatever that focus is. I think that there's been just a little bit of sacrifice of that love, that heart energy, okay? It's almost a renunciation kind of vibe that I'm getting, you know, where you've kind of deliberately sacrificed that and denied yourself that in order to kind of consolidate that power and not be distracted, to stick to your central sword, stick to your path, your work, whatever it is that you've got going, if it's your business, your career, any kind of artistic endeavors that you do, whatever it is that is your work and your purpose. For some reason, you've had to deny yourself a lot of like fun, basically, pleasure, enjoyment, good times, you know? And I think that's why this event, this affair, if you want to call it, again, I don't like that term. It sounds too scandalous. But this event, this union, this interaction with this person has kind of woken something up inside of you. And I think that you're now starting to kind of question whether or not you need to sacrifice this so much. Because again, we've got the glass kind of half full, half empty here. If you look at these cards, it's becoming a little bit more empty than full, you know. There's not really a lot of water to sustain us, to fulfill us, to give us the complete satisfaction. So it's how do you want to look at this situation? And I think sometimes maybe you vacillate a little bit between, look, you know, my cup is half full. I've got enough joy and pleasure in my life. I need to focus on this work. I don't need these other distractions. You know, you're kind of learning to look the other way and say no and, you know, not be lured away, not be tempted away. Other times I think you'll be looking at this like, my cup is half empty. I need more, you know, in order to sustain the work that I'm doing, sustain my own health and well-being, emotional health, physical health, all of it. You need more joy and pleasure and satisfaction and relaxation and affection and connection, right? So I think you kind of go back and forth between what you want and how much of it you want, you know? The next card is pretty interesting. The next card here is kind of intense. Okay, I think that this is the Tower card. You know, I think that there's going to be kind of a sudden change in your life. I think that this could be your choice to not restrict yourself. This could be the real kind of explosion of this water energy. Okay, it could be that you, maybe not intentionally or consciously, but I think you kind of make the decision to just let it flow and let it go. And if this is an interaction with this air sign person, if this is something that has the potential for a continued relationship, I think you're going to go for it. You know, but I don't want to influence your decision. So let me backtrack a little bit on that one. I don't know if you're going to go for it or not, but I think if you do, there's going to be this real change in you. And there's going to be almost like a breakthrough, almost like a release, an energetic release. Now, I know we're kind of getting a little bit, maybe dangerously close to some double entendres here. A little bit of innuendo, but this is the way the cards fell, okay? I didn't choose these cards. So I think this kind of release is going to be good for you. Okay, I think it's going to open up doors. It's going to open up energy pathways that I think are going to improve your work and your dedication and your focus. It could be that you've been winding yourself up pretty tight, you know, and this kind of a release, I think, is something to just clear the blockages energetically and get things flowing again, you know? Because I'm feeling I'm feeling a tightly wound kind of thing. It almost feels like the Seven of Swords is really winding up really tight, okay? And that's the effort to keep all of these distractions, maybe to keep some of this water energy at bay, right? Trying to keep it from interfering with us. And the more we do that, we just kind of wind ourselves up tighter and tighter and tighter. Eventually there is going to be this release of things, okay? So what this card is telling me, this is your environment, this is your connection. I feel like you might see this person again. And I feel like it might have, there might be a bit of a climax to this kind of story arc, okay? And I think that's a good thing. I think that will only benefit you, okay? But there's definitely there's the potential here for something a little bit more, something to kind of continue, you know, maybe not long-term, maybe not indefinitely, maybe this might not be true love, it might not be the one. But I feel like you are part of you anyway, and this kind of going back to the Eight of Cups a little bit. Part of you kind of wants to continue this beyond just this one night, right? I feel like you met this person, the interaction was really great, and then it kind of wrapped up by the end of the celebration, the end of the party. And then you go home thinking, gosh, should I call this person? Should I try to see them again? And it's something I think that is going to be on your mind until you make a decision, and probably until you just kind of go for it and see what's there. See what becomes of it, you know? And I think that's why we've got this Tower energy. I think this is in the coming days after this kind of event. I think that this is a lot of this turmoil within you. Like, should I call them? Should I try to meet with them again? You know, do they want to see me? What was it that was going on there? Like, it's gonna bug you. And it's going to be a little bit chaotic in you until you figure out what you want to do. And I think you're going to have to try at least to talk to this person again and see where that relationship goes, see what the connection is, you know, and that's going to release a lot of that tension as well. Let's move on to this next card here. Now we have a couple more court cards to deal with. This is the Prince of Wands, and this represents you and your fears, worries, and concerns. I think that part of the idea here is that you need to keep yourself very contained, very focused, a little bit tightly wound so you can stay in control, stay on task, stay focused. If you give in to your impulses, if you give in to this physical, emotional, sexual desire and get this energy flowing through this tower energy, I think the worry is that you're going to go completely off the rails. You know, I think that with you, it's either you stay in this almost rigid control, or it's completely just hog wild, no control, chaos, off the rails, right? That's kind of the concern. I think you feel like it's an either or kind of thing, you know? And maybe you have a little bit of a history with this where you tend towards abstinence because even a little bit is going to take you all the way. Does that make sense? So it's better to have zero and just avoid that temptation altogether, because if you try to indulge just a little bit, it's going to just snowball, you know? And I think that might be the concern because of this Prince of Wands. So maybe that you have a little bit, maybe a little bit of a history of tending toward that kind of thing, but that is the concern. And we don't want that because, you know, you're trying to stick to this success. You're trying to stick to, well, what we also understand with the Six of Pentacles, this really beautiful future, this success that you're trying to build for your life. You know, you're on a very definite track. And we saw that with the Ardor Temperance card where you know exactly what you want and how to get there. And this is like, okay, a detour, and you're not sure how long this is going to be or if this is going to take your train right off the rails, like I said. Okay, so that's the concern. What we see as the final card on the Path of the Serpent is kind of the outcome card, you know. This is the Knight of Cups, and I really think that this could represent you really taking that risk, okay? You're taking your fire energy in your hands. You're taking the risk that we had here, you know, that kind of concern and that fear, that kind of worry. And you are opening up your heart. You're opening up the floodgates of this water energy, and you kind of, in some ways, are just going to say, the heck with it. I'm going to see what this is all about. Because going back to this Two of Cups, it feels like there really was that chemistry, that spark between the two of you. And this might be worth exploring. And I think that you might go with that. And I think that you're going to really hold on to your fire energy. You're going to hold on to your focus and your ambition. But you just maybe want to explore this a little bit. Okay? With this Knight of Cups, I feel like there is movement in the water, right? I feel like some of this water here is starting to flow again. And, you know, it's still your choice, obviously. Okay, I don't need to say that, but I kind of do need to. It's your choice whether to indulge in this, whether to give it another thought, whether to experiment, explore this possibility with this person, or to completely shut it down, ignore it, forget about it, stick to your path. You know, I can only tell you what the energy is, and I do feel like there is movement in the water energy. I feel like your heart is kind of ready to have some kind of movement with this energy, you know. Let's look at this mystery card. I'm curious. Always curious about the mystery card. It's been sitting there for a half an hour already, just tempting us to look at it. This could be something like an Empress. Could be some more water, some more cups energy. Well, this is an 8. An 8 of Pentacles. This is perfect, really, because this is kind of a non-answer, right? This card is saying, well, it's up to you. It's your choice. You have to choose whether to explore this this arousal of feelings and emotion and water energy, or to completely shut it down and ignore it. Stay focused on your path. whichever you decide. The Eight of Discs is really talking about moderation, caution, prudence, paying attention to the details, reassessing things every step of the way. A beautiful card, Ancient Italian Tarot. These 8 discs are very slow and deliberate. Okay, so whichever way you choose to go, you have to remain in control, remain aware of what you're doing. Now, we have the 8 of discs here. We had the 8 of cups over here, remember? So this is the emotion, that the water energy, the pleasure, the joy, all that, the feeling kind of energies that are very locked up in this very strict kind of system that you have, right? You've kind of deliberately kept them under lock and key, right? And this is kind of the same thing, but this is now, if you explore the manifestation of these feelings, okay, this emotion, this water energy, if you explore the manifestation of that, if you try to see how this is going to play out in the world, you have to still do so with the same kind of control that we had, the same kind of lock and key thing, right? You can let them out, you can unlock the door, but just keep them on a bit of a short leash, right? So that you can reassess every step of the way and make sure that you're not getting carried away. Because I think our idea is that we want to explore the manifestation of these energies, but we don't want them to get so carried away that we just, again, like go off the rails, right? Crazy train style. So it's about caution, going slow, being very deliberate, take things very slow. So that you don't get so caught up in this energy that it just becomes a raging inferno and destroys all of your plans and puts everything kind of in a bad spot for you. So whichever way you choose, do so cautiously, deliberately, take your time, go slow, don't make any sudden moves, I think that's the confirmation. So we didn't get a confirmation one way or the other because this really is something for you. Is it just this one pleasant experience at this celebration, this party? Or was there something more there, and do you want to explore that? That's up to you. I hope you'll let me know in the comments, how you're feeling, how you're doing, and if this is resonating with you. We're going to do an extended real quick. You can click on the link that's right up here, and you can have access to all of the extended readings. This was your weekly tarot reading for January 29th through February 4th on Dove and Serpent Tarot.